Last time, you saw us outside of Hattersley station, midway through visiting all of the stations here on the Glossop Line. But this time, we're staying far away from Manchester and properly heading towards Glossop.
Which is, you know, what a lot of the people will have clicked on the last video for, come to think of it.
Well, this is part 2, and I mean, if you really wanted to see all the generic, boring Manchester stations, that was last week's video, but this week, we're actually going to go and visit the proper cool stations now. And our train is in about 10 minutes. Let's go and get our train. And as if we haven't already been on this train enough. Right, we're on here until Glossop anyway, which is probably like the longest amount of time between stations that we have to do. Although I'm also thinking that later when we do Hadfield to Broadbottom might actually take a bit longer. But yeah, more time on these lovely trains. What a lovely view. And here we are at Glossop. I kind of forgot that the train that we was on was a yellow train as well. And here we are at Glossop, the terminus of, well, one of the two branches of the Glossop and Hadfield lines.
Someone's got a car.
It's a single platform station and actually has a very nice station building, and I'm pretty sure there's a B&M next door. As this train's departing anyway, I'm going to tell you probably a very interesting fact, but to be fair, we only really have about 20 minutes here. So you guys might be wondering, what's so cool about these two branch lines? Well, funnily enough, out of these two branches of the line, it turns out that Glossop is actually the only terminus of these lines that has always been a terminus. The end of the line has always been here in Glossop. However, Hadfield was actually at one point a through station, which was actually cut back. And there's actually some pretty interesting history that we'll obviously get onto here. But other than that, we're kind of just here in Glossop. Now, some eager-eyed people out there might actually be thinking that it is a bit cheeky for me to actually come to Glossop, Dinting and Hadfield as part of this series, because technically, we're not in Greater Manchester. In fact, technically, we're currently not even in the north, as this area is actually a part of Derbyshire. So it technically means that currently we're in the Midlands. There's a bit of an interesting fact about these lines anyway, and because they are pretty much 3 stations at the end of a line only coming from Manchester, it kind of makes sense that most people using this station are going into Greater Manchester anyway, and therefore this station is actually going to become a part of the B network and is currently a part of the general TFDM network, which means that all of your Greater Manchester valid travel cards and passes are actually valid to Glossop, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, we don't have too much time here because we do have a pretty tight schedule. I know that it'd be great to actually explore Glossop a bit more, but don't worry, we'll make it up for you at Hadfield in a bit. But yeah, as for now, we don't have too long till our train, so we should probably get going. And yeah, it's definitely shaped up to be a very nice day today. But ultimately, I think we made the right choice in coming out and exploring this part of the rail network. What do you think, Reuben?
Yeah, it's been a nice enough trip so far.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think it's going to get even better once we go to Hadfield because there's some pretty interesting railway history to be found there. Other than that, it's actually quite nice. And it's just like deja vu. We can just stand up here anyway, because it is just going to be like, what, 5 minutes on here? Oh, mind the gap. And we're at Dinting. Right, and this is going to have to be Dinting in the shortest possible amount of time, because turns out there's a train that's going to be here in like 4 minutes. So, yeah. So Dinting just said to the end of Dinting Viaduct, which is a very beautiful viaduct, and it is a triangle junction station with 2 platforms. Now, when I said earlier about Hattersley being like relatively unique because it had like a one-of-a-kind for the line platform design, well, this is probably an even cooler version, because this here is, if I turn the camera around, 1 platform goes that way and 1 goes that way. So this platform here doesn't really get used. It's only really used either in peak times or during engineering works and whatnot. And then this one usually always gets used. Now, this station used to be in its heyday quite a while ago, but nowadays it has just abandoned platform stuff and abandoned buildings around it, and there really isn't much around here. It's more so nowadays less of a junction station between the line past Hadfield and the line to Glossop, and now it's just mainly just used for the few local people who live around here, but other than that, not really much here. But that was like the quickest possible explanation I could do about Dinting, because we really don't have much time here. Let's see if we don't fall down the gap, because that is a big gap. No, we made it fine. And here we are at the end of the line. So here we are then at Hadfield, the other end of the line of the Glossop and Hadfield lines. Now, as I alluded to back at Glossop, this wasn't actually the end of the line initially. As well, for those who don't know, this was actually on the Woodhead line, which was one of the main routes to Sheffield, which was scrapped at some part in the relatively late 1900s. And in fact, you can see there, somewhere, like there, that the overhead gantries actually continue past the station. Now today, Hadfield is kind of just more of a shell of itself. As you can probably tell by the size of the gantries, it probably was at least 2 platforms wide. Now it's just a single platform inheriting its station building. Now we have an hour here until the next train. In fact, it's so far away that the destination board's not even saying anything. So we're actually going to go and have a wander around here and actually show you the old alignment, because for those who don't know, you can actually walk down part of the old Woodhead line. And other than that, Hadfield is kind of just another relatively sleepy town in this area of like, I guess it's technically not considered the peaks, but it kind of is at the same time, because, well, what are those hills over there? Now, the trail for the old Woodhead line is kind of a little bit of a walk from the main station, and it does involve walking down this road, I believe. I haven't actually been down here for quite some time, though. But I think you can actually join it somewhere around where this road meets the old track alignment. In fact, I was right. My memory from a few years ago actually turned out to remember. But yeah, as you can see here, it's a bridge for nothing. And to the side of it, it's a little car park. And at the end of that car park is what's called the Longdendale Trail, which is actually the former track bed. It's the Woodhead line. So let's start walking up here. Now, obviously, in an hour, you're not going to walk this entire trail, but we're going to walk down some of it to sort of show you about it, I guess, and also, because I guess this is one of the best parts about this part of the country, is that you can get some really nice walks in. Now, to put into perspective where we actually are, if you look on a map at the sprawl of Greater Manchester, including all of the edge towns that technically wouldn't be considered part of Manchester, but are sort of close to the line in that general sort of sprawl, you'd notice that Glossop and Hadfield are at the very, very eastern end of that, and I guess this is what some might consider to be the edge of Manchester. Even to an extent, this isn't in Greater Manchester, this is technically a part of Derbyshire, part of the East Midlands, but even then I think it is sort of the very edge of Manchester's general sphere of influence. And if we keep on walking down that trail and follow this old alignment, you will eventually get to Sheffield. Now, I do think we head down here to go to where I was thinking of, but you never know. It's a bit of exploration time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a public footpath down there to the reservoir, which I think we might go down. I just want to check to see what time our train coming back is. Now this here is a public footpath. There's signs proclaiming it as such, and Google Maps also says. We're just going to keep to where it looks like people have been walking it anyway. And it's going to lead us down to a reservoir. I mean, I can already see the reservoir. There it is. But yeah, we're not in a city anymore. We're not even in suburbs anymore. We're just out in the country. And all of this is basically like half an hour on a train from Manchester Piccadilly. Like, you can get here from most places in Manchester within an hour. And personally, I suggest you guys come out here and explore more. Even if this is a bit on the limit of what I can do. Now, obviously, walking down here now, I believe that this reservoir is called Bottom Reservoir. Maybe because it's like the first one coming out of Manchester, so it's like at the bottom of the peaks. And that road up there, which you might be able to see a truck going across, that is Woodhead Pass, which is one of two of the main roads between Manchester and Sheffield, which is kind of a road route that is quite famously not that good, because it is literally just your standard one lane in each direction road going between two major cities. And now we're back down here onto another public footpath. This is one of those things where I sort of think to myself, like, I got hit by train and like I didn't really think I would end up in a place like this today. And I think this is kind of why I do what I do, because I guess for me, like, the railway is just a general enthusiasm for me. You know, like, it's cool looking at all the stations, going on all the trains and just being sat on a train. But I guess another reason why I've started to like it, especially in recent years, is that you can sort of end up in places like this, where, you know, like, it's just really easy to just get out and explore the country. And sometimes it's just great, you know, like, you don't need to look at your phone screen. And I know I'm doing this for a video and that, but sometimes I just like to see the world. And it's great. You know, I didn't think that I'd be in such a beautiful place on a commuter line out of Manchester, but here I am. So, go have an explore around the country. It's really cool. I know I kind of went on a bit of a tangent, because obviously I was like, oh yeah, like we're here to explore that path that used to be the Woodhead Line, which obviously ties into what this video is about, visiting all the stations here. And there's a bit of a historical aspect to that. But also, like, just look at where we are. Like, I know this is a man-made reservoir. I know that, like, this is probably just going to be like water for people to drink or something like that, or use, or whatever. But it's beautiful. Do you have anything to say, Reuben?
Green.
That is really insightful. And obviously, you know, if you want to see me explore more places like this, I know that there's more beautiful places than a random reservoir within like a 20-minute walk of a train station. But if you do want to see me explore other parts of the railway and also make more informational videos about just railway and its history and just what makes a railway so great in the first place, then make sure to subscribe. As I'm doing this, I think I've just got over 815 subscribers, and I know that this isn't the next video to come out, so who knows, I might even be on 900, 1,000, a billion, I don't know. But what I'm basically saying anyway is that this is a relatively new channel and it's growing, so rest assured there is going to be more content like this coming in the near future. And to be fair, after coming here, it's like, why wouldn't I want to go and just make a video on a place as cool as this? Goodbye, reservoir. It was nice seeing you. Now we're gonna go up this hill and all the way back to Hadfield train station. We've still got one station left to go. But my God, is it difficult to get up. Right, there we have it. That was Hadfield anyway. It's not the last place we're going to today, but I think it's safe to say that that was the nicest place. And to be fair, this is the nicest station. Because how does that compare to Flowery Field? But we've got one more station to visit called Broadbottom. And the thing is, at this point, especially after that walk around Hadfield, my legs aren't doing the best. I struggle with conditions that obviously make it quite straining to walk relatively long distances. So, at Broadbottom, I've got a very interesting concept of how to do that, how to get something interesting in Broadbottom, whilst also allowing me to rest for a bit, whilst we have half an hour there, so keep a lookout. But yeah, I guess we're just going to wait for the train, which is in about 15 minutes. And I guess the final train of the video, another final train for us because we still need to go back to home. Make yourself at home on this lovely 323. So whilst we're on this train, the final train that we're actually going on in this video, I mean, we've obviously got to get a train back to Manchester after this, but you don't need to see that. Basically, we're trying to make the video a bit more interesting anyway. So the final station that we need to go to today is Broadbottom. So I'm going to give the camera to Reuben because what could possibly go wrong? Everything, probably. So Reuben's going to obviously be given the camera.
Against your better judgment.
Yeah. And he's going to put a timer on for 5 minutes, and he's got to leave Broadbottom station and find one thing interesting, and when the timer runs out, he's got to stop what he's doing and head straight back to the station. That will be a fun way to end off the video. But yeah, we're on the final 323. I'm pretty sure the drivers are probably sick and tired of seeing us at like every single station now. But oh well, it's been a nice day. See ya.
It was chill.
And here we are at the final stop of the day, the lovely, beautiful Broadbottom. Now, this is another bog standard 2-platform northern station, but at least unlike the other ones that we saw down the line, at least this one put the effort in with a nice station building. And what also looks to be a really nice footbridge over there. But other than that, like, it's just a nice little quaint station. Now, here's the thing though. I'm going to hand this camera to Reuben. And as I said on the train, he'll have 5 minutes to basically find something interesting, show it off, and then once that time is up, he has to get back here. So Reuben.
So?
The camera's in your hands.
You're with me now.
I've shown him how to use it.
Just give me a sec. There we are.
I've shown him on how to use it. He's got a 5-minute timer set up now. 3, 2, 1, go. Right. I'll meet you back at that waiting shelter.
Right, so let's see what we can see. For starters, we have this quiet little pathway heading out the station here. Right, what do we have up here then? What is there to see? Doesn't look like there's anything of note down there, actually. I'm going to turn around, pitch the camera down a bit so you can actually see what I'm on about. So there's a small footpath off to the right of there. I'm going to see what is down there, if anything. There's a little shanty town of sheds over there. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I hear the sound of running water. I'll go check out what that is, because if it is what I think it is, then that should serve as the interesting thing. Some sheep over there, you can barely make out. Come on, turn around you. Right, yeah, may as well just start heading back now then. Got 20 seconds left on the timer. I don't think I'm going to find anything. I'm going to be 100 with you. I'm not sure if you can, not sure if the mic's picking that up on video, but if you can hear that running water sound. If I'm, oh, yep, that's the timer. Yes, I know.
I don't know what he is up to right now, though.
Down there, in that dip, is the River Etherow, which historically served as the boundary between Cheshire and Derbyshire. And we've kind of been plunging in and out of Derbyshire all day when we're going about on these train-related antics, so I thought that was something worth mentioning anyway. I didn't technically see it, but, you know, it's there. I recognise those blue jays.
No way. I can't wait to see what thing you found.
You probably can, I'm gonna be real.
Oh, why am I so zoomed in? Well, I can't wait to see. Right then, I guess we can both say that we've officially been to every single station on the Glossop and Hadfield line. How was that?
Bit more interesting than I was expecting, I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, well, this is a completely different style of video to obviously what has worked well on this channel in the past, so if you did like it, then make sure to show your support by liking and subscribing. Also, on top of that, there is a channel membership option. I know that not many people are probably big enough fans to warrant to spend money on the channel, but if you do have a few quid spare to help support the channel, then that would be greatly appreciated, and you will get all sorts of different perks. And there's just a button down below this video to go and become a member if you wish. Other than that though, I'll leave you here. We've got a train, hopefully in not too long. I'm Vex from Vexspotting, the Vexspotting official YouTube channel. This was Bubbas.
A random NPC he spawned to help with the camera.
And yeah, well, bye! That's such an awful outro, Jesus Christ.